All right, we'll probably got about another 10, 20 seconds. So look alive because it's going to be live. All right, it looks like we are live on Facebook. We are live on Facebook. So we're going to go ahead and get started. Good evening, everyone out there in Facebook land. Thank you for joining us tonight for, I want to say this is episode 6 of Teen Talk Tuesday with TLC. We've got an amazing group here with us again tonight, representing centers from all over the city of Tampa. My name is Jamal. I am the site supervisor here at the Jackson Heights NFL Yet Center. I'll be facilitating the group today. We've got another wonderful topic. We are on part 2 of our Dear Adult series, everything adults need to know about teenagers, everything you wanted to know about your teen in your home, or the teen that you teach, or the teen that you mentor, or the teen that you're looking to engage with. Now is the time to tune in to get the teen perspective on what's going on in the world of our young people. So with that being said, I'm going to introduce our group. I'm going to start with you, Jonathan. Give the folks in Facebook land your name, age, the school you attend. And our icebreaker question for tonight is, who is the most influential person in your life? Who is the most influential person in your life? Jonathan, you got the floor first, my boy.
Hi, my name is Jonathan. I'm 14. I attend Legacy Preparatory Academy. And the most influential person in my life, I would say, is my mom.
Mom, why mom? Give us a little insight onto why mom is the most influential person in your life.
But she's always there when I need her, and she always pushes on through all of the challenges that she may have.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. Shout out to moms. What'd you do for your mom on Mother's Day? I know Mother's Day was just a couple weeks ago.
I cooked for her.
Oh, man. What'd you cook?
Well, I made her breakfast. I made a scrambled, well, it's like an omelet with pancakes and turkey sausage.
Oh, man. That's dope, man. That's dope. I'm sure she enjoyed that act of love, man. That's good. That's good. Miss Autumn. Autumn's been with us, I think, every Facebook Live episode. She's been here with us, so she's a Facebook veteran. Autumn, introduce yourself to the family.
My name is Autumn. I'm 14. I go to Tampa Bay Tech, and the most that one word, I can't say it. Influential person is my mom, because she always helped me when I need help, and she always support me.
Absolutely. Your mom is influential in my life too, because when she tells me to do stuff, I do it. She looks like she doesn't play the radio. So your mom is influential to me when it's time to register for summer camp and after school. She always influenced me to make sure y'all get in, because if not, she's gonna be on my case. So shout out to your mom. What'd you do for your mom on Mother's Day? Nothing?
We went to my auntie house, and we ate crab.
Oh, I had a seafood. I'm sure she enjoyed that. Big Mike, represent Copeland Park. Big Mike, this is your first time with us, man. So introduce yourself to the Facebook family.
What's good? My name is Michael. I'm 17. I go to the Redley New School. It's about to finish its first complete year without anything. Patel High School. Even though my parents are really influential, but probably the most influential right now in my life has to be my brother, because my older brother he's in the Air Force. He got a lot of things set up already. He has a kid, a nice house, and just try to think of ways to make sure I keep a good head with things.
That's what's up, man. Shout out to your brother, man, being a role model for his little brother, man. That much respect to your big bro. Anastasia is with us tonight, our TLC alumni, who's going to share a little bit with us tonight. Anastasia, I know you're not in school here in the county, but you can introduce yourself and what school and everything that you've accomplished here in this past weekend. I think I watched something on YouTube that you starred in.
So hey everyone, my name is Anastasia Dye. On Saturday, I graduated from the illustrious Clark Atlanta University.
You don't have to say your age, but then give your most influential person. I know why young ladies are kind of particular about giving their age. So you don't have to give your age if you don't want to.
So the most influential person in my life is myself, because I am a first generation college graduate, and I'm just a goal catcher. Like everything I want to do, I do it. I put my mind to it and I get it done. And even after I caught my first dream, I still dream, because the sky is the limit. And I want to encourage you all to continue to go even after you get your first dream, because dreams do come true with hard work and dedication behind it. So yeah.
Thank you. Welcome to the Facebook Live portion with us. Before you've been on with our non-live group, but we appreciate you coming on with us tonight. Coach Hayden at the one and only Forest Hills. Introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Hayden. I've been working here at Forest Hills for almost 6 years now. And the most influential person probably would be my mom, because she's just taught me everything I know, down to finances, how to live, how to budget, everything. So without her, I probably wouldn't know that kind of stuff.
Absolutely. And speaking of your mom, you know who's watching, right? So go ahead and do it. We have to do this every
Hi, Mom. How are you?
Watching. She said hi on the Facebook Live comments. So what did you do for your mom on Mother's Day? A couple weeks ago. Was it 2 weeks ago, Mother's Day?
I think so. Yeah. I made her a homemade sugar scrub made with essential oils and stuff like that.
Good. I'm sure she appreciated that. She's looking at you on Facebook too, by the way. Miss Regina, one of the founders of our TLC program, and one of the brainchilds between of Teen Talk. Miss Regina, introduce yourself to the Facebook family, even though a lot of them already know who you are.
I would think so after almost 37 years at it. But good evening, everyone. I'm Regina Mcbride Smith. I am a team supervisor with Tampa Parks and Recreation, and I just love teenagers. I always have. So let me see. The most influential person in my life would have to be, we can only do one, right?
No, you can do multiple.
Okay, well, you know what? My two children, my daughter and my son, are very influential in my life, because it's just been amazing to watch them grow up. I mean, of course they were little because I had them, but just to watch them grow into the people that they are, just it's just delightful to see them do what they do. And they're still young and they're getting started. So yeah. My two at my house, and plus a lot of the other teenagers and young people that I see who are really, on the ball, getting things going for themselves. Really appreciate it.
Thank you. We appreciate it. We appreciate you being on with us.
You
as well. I was just going to get to that. I forgot to mention my most influential person. I have two as well, and it's my mom and dad. Those two people who never let me take a day off, really. In sports, whatever sports I was in, whatever activities, they always supported. They were always there. So my mom and dad, absolutely, two most influential among all the coaches and mentors and everyone who's been a part of it. But my mom and dad definitely led by example and led the way. So shout out to moms and dads. So now that we've introduced ourselves, I'm going to share my screen real quick, because on top of what we've been doing, we also have some other graduates who are in our TLC program that are not here with us tonight, but they're here with us in spirit and in picture. So I'm going to swing across the top. The young lady in the top left corner is the one and only Anastasia Dye. Let me see if I can read everything that I have here. Graduate of what did you call it? Did you call it the world famous? What was the description?
The illustrious Clark Atlanta.
She is a 2021 graduate of the illustrious Clark Atlanta University. majoring in criminal justice administration with a minor in sociology. Did I get it all?
Yeah.
Congratulations. I'm giving you a hand clap. I'm sure Facebook is giving you a hand clap as well. Congratulations. The young lady in the top right corner is from our MLK TLC program. Her name is Kiana Dorsey. She is a 2021 graduate of Armwood High School who graduated with a 4.1 GPA and is enrolling in Hillsborough Community College in the fall. So shout out to Coach Smoke who shared this information with us. And then Kiana, if you're watching, if someone you know is listening, congratulations on your graduation and good luck at Hillsborough Community College this fall. Down in the bottom left corner is a young man who's near and dear to me here at the Yet Center, Mr. Corey Anthony Jr. He's the grandson of Deidre Anthony, my team supervisor and a long time Parks and Recreation employee. He's a 2021 graduate of Tampa Bay Technical High School. And CJ is preparing to enter the Navy in August. He has, I believe, been sworn in already, and he's leaving in August to go serve his country in the United States Navy. So shout out to Corey Anthony Jr., CJ, if you're watching, Ms. DJ, if you're watching, congratulations to you. The young lady down at the bottom is not a graduate, but she is one of our TLC members. She is usually on with us on our Facebook Live, Ariana Addison. She is representing the Gwen Miller Center. And I believe we talked about this the last time we were on. She was newly inducted into the National Honor Society at Progress Village Middle School. She is an avid cheerleader and dancer. And we are sure she will continue to do great things. I know her mom is usually watching. She wasn't able to come on with us tonight because she had a prior engagement, but shout out to Ariana for her accomplishment, National Junior Honor Society. So with that being said, congratulations to all the graduates here in Hillsborough County, near and far, all of our TLC alumni, those who are graduating college, those who are graduating high school and moving on to adulthood and school or the workforce. Congratulations to you all and good luck to you all in whatever it is you decide to do. So with that being said, we're going to jump right into Dear Adults Part 2. Dear Adults Part 1 got so much traction on Facebook, and I know I've got phone calls and text messages from people all across the city who either watched it on Facebook or heard about it or either said, I learned something. Those teenagers gave me some insight or some advice on how to reach my teen. So we're going to jump right into Teen Talk Tuesday with TLC, Dear Adults Part 2. So Autumn, I'm going to start with you first, and we're going to kick our dialogue off with a simple question. And I'm sure parents and teachers and adults are taking notes, hopefully. Our first question for tonight is, how do you and your peers deal with stress? Like, what helps you deal with stress? I know teen stress is different from adult stress, but how are you all yourself specifically and teens dealing with stress?
I don't know how my peers deal with stress, but me personally, I like to isolate myself from everybody, like to be alone.
Okay, and when you're alone in your own thoughts and when you're alone in your own space, is there anything specific that you do? Is it reading, yoga? What is it?
I read.
Okay, you just do a lot of reading. So reading is a stress reliever for you, huh?
Yeah.
Okay, sweet. Jonathan, coming your way, big guy. How do you deal with stress and or your teens, if you know? I mean, your peers, if you know.
For me, on a personal level, what I do is I either try to make my way to a basketball court. I'm gonna just isolate myself from everyone else and just play basketball and just think about my problems and try to find solutions to them.
Okay, so going out, just breaking a sweat, working on your game, kind of just relaxes you, get your mind off the stress of the day.
Yes.
Absolutely, that's dope. Big Mike, coming your way, same question. How are you and your peers dealing with stress right now? I know with the pandemic and summer starting, and some of you all may be looking to get a summer job. There's just a lot going on for teens and adults. So how do you deal?
personally, how I deal with stress is, well, if it's not playing basketball or in the gym, just working on myself, most of the time I'm just either just in my room, locked up, and then listening to music just to empty out my mind and make sure, I'm straight with myself.
Okay,
Usually when I'm with my peers or anything, well, when I'm with my friends,
okay.
we usually it's just like enjoy his company and make sure talk about if anything, if I might feel any slight difference in any type of vibe.
No doubt. So when you're zoning out in your room and your music, who you listening to, or what are you listening to? Favorite artist? What relax you?
Well, my favorite artist, like ever since I listened to my brother. First favorite artist just had to either be J. Cole, Kendrick, Chance the Rapper. But if I'm really just trying to stay in my mind, I usually just find some sort of instrumental beat just to make sure I'm just zoning in or focus on whatever I'm doing. That's what I need to do when I'm doing my homework. So.
No doubt. Now you mentioned J. Cole, right? So J. Cole just dropped that album last week. Is it a classic or not? You said J. Cole is your guy. Is it a classic? They say, because I've been hearing instant classic. I haven't heard it yet.
Most definitely. Jermaine Cole is always going to drop a classic.
Instant classic. Okay, I'll take it from you there. I'll take your word for it. Instant classic. I'm gonna check it out. I got it downloaded. I just haven't checked the whole thing out yet. So instant classic coming from Mike. If you're watching, Mike said check it out. Anastasia, coming your way. On the college level, some of the things that you've dealt with, pandemic on virtual learning in college. I couldn't even imagine doing that back when I was in college. And some of the things that go on the college campus or in and around the campus. Stress, and how are you dealing, and how do some of your peers may be dealing, some of the younger adults?
Well, first I'll take a deep breath and declutter my mind, just so I'm not overthinking or I'm overwhelming myself with emotions. Secondly, I use my frustrations as inspiration to create some type of art. So if someone else is feeling that type of way, or someone else has gone through that, they can, touch or receive my piece of art, and they can remember to always take care of themselves, take a deep breath, and take things day by day, because nothing happens overnight. So as long as you have that mind control, you kind of ahead of stress. You can beat it, or you can come at it level-headed. Just to understand that sometimes stress really isn't real. It's just something that we put on ourselves due to our expectations and social media. So that's how I deal with it.
Absolutely. Great answer. A lot of insight. Coach Hayden, you work with teens a lot. You've been working with them for a while. How are some of the ways that you see the teens you work with deal with their stress?
A lot of teens now, I hear them listening to music when they're stressed out, or like playing basketball and stuff like that.
Okay, basketball. And how about any arts, any kind of drawing, reading? Do you see any of that stuff going on with some of the teens you work with?
No, just one girl, she likes to draw a lot, but mostly they're always in their headphones.
Always on the phone, right? The phone is the lifeline for a lot of our teens. Ms. Regina, I'm going to swing your way real quick. You've been working with teens for a long time, and spanning several different generations. How are some of the ways that you see the teens that you have worked with in the past, and the teens who you're working with now, and how does that kind of compare?
Well, there's similarities. Of course, the differences are the social media aspects of it. They didn't have social media aspect. My goodness, I'm about to say 30 years ago. The things that they have that's available to them now, they didn't have, because they do a lot of social media things now. But one thing I will say that, it has spanned decades, is they like to get together. They like to chill together. Oh, did I say chill?
Chill is still a cool word, Miss Regina. We can still use that.
They like to get together. They like to socialize. They like to share time and space and have fun and laugh. And that's important, for them to socialize and get together. And that's why I tell them, don't depend so much on this cell phone thing. Don't text the person if they're sitting next to you.
That's absolutely true. Absolutely true. I remember, and I'm not too young, but I'm old enough to know that there was a time where you had to pick up a landline and call your friends if you wanted to talk to them. If you were dealing with something and there was something you needed to tell them right away, I couldn't pick up a phone in 1994 at Jefferson High School and text my friends. I had to call them on their landline, and if it was a young lady, her father answered the phone, and I had to put my nice guy voice on. Or if it was late, I had to ask their parents' permission for them to talk if it was after 9, 10 o'clock. So
That's the truth.
definitely, the game has definitely changed a lot, but our young people and a lot of the young people that I see here, music is a big outlet for them. They will have their headphones on. You'll see their head bopping, even if they're going through something. You'll see them in their phone, either texting or talking, FaceTiming. So they are hanging out and chilling, Miss Regina. They're just doing it in a different way. They're doing it on FaceTime. They're doing it on Zoom calls like we're doing now. They're doing it on all these apps, Duo, and there's so many different avenues for them to hang and chill and get and relieve some stress. So the game has changed, but it's still the same. Thank you all for those answers. So we're going to move on to the next one. And Jonathan, I'm going to swing your way from this one. I think this one is big because I know a lot of teens are dealing with this, and parents are dealing with teens who are dealing with this. So I think that this next subject will touch a little bit of everything. Jonathan and the rest of the crew, we want to find out, is peer pressure a real thing? If so, how do you handle peer pressure? So that's the next question. Jonathan, to you, you'll kick us off. Is peer pressure a real thing? Is that like really happen still?
I mean, like, it kind of depends because sometimes it does happen. Like before COVID, like used to like happen like frequently a lot. But now like after COVID, like during COVID, it hasn't really like happened a lot, like settled down a lot.
Okay, and when we're talking peer pressure, right? No names or no specific situations. Well, what are some of the things people kind of peer? Maybe not you, but you see people try to attempt to peer pressure into doing or being a part of.
I'll say like skipping school, doing drugs, or bullying another kid.
Those are three real big issues. And those things all stand the test of time, really. They were skipping school when I was in school. I'm sure Miss Regina, they were skipping school and there was drugs when you were in school. So those are issues. And it's kind of sad to say that those are issues that kids have been dealing with forever, and they probably will deal with forever. So absolutely, we appreciate that. We know that it's real. So how do you deal with peer pressure, Jonathan?
I don't really know because I haven't really experienced it because most of my friends, they know like what's right from wrong. So okay. I haven't really experienced peer pressure, so I don't really know how to deal with it.
Okay, well, that's good. That's good. Well, you haven't experienced it yet, which is a great thing. But if I can give you a little bit of advice myself, be true to yourself. You know what's acceptable for you. You know right from wrong, and if it doesn't feel right, it's not for you. So if you can take anything from this, because I can promise you there'll be a point where you'll come to that crossroad where somebody's going to apply some pressure for something. Maybe something small, maybe something big, but when you reach that fork in the road, just stay true to yourself, young fella. That's the best advice I can give you. Autumn, coming your way. Is peer pressure a real thing? Tampa Bay Tech is where you attend. Is peer pressure a real thing in your school, in your neighborhood?
Yeah, it is real. Well, I don't feel pressure. But I don't deal with it because I don't if somebody asks me, I'm gonna tell them no straight up. I'm not gonna let them peer pressure me.
Okay, so you just tell them straight up, it's not for me, it's not my setup.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's stay on that point real quick. If they apply serious pressure to where they start to make you feel bad or make you feel like you're the lone wolf, how do you deal with that part of it?
I talk to my mom about it.
Okay, great. That's a great outlet, talking to your mom, because mom will always lead you in the right direction. Big Mike, coming your way, same question, man. I know you said Patel's a fairly new school, but you're a ball player, you're a young man. How do you deal with stress? Peer pressure? Is it real? And if so, how do you deal?
Peer pressure is real, even at the new school, but but for the first people that was there, like for the first year and stuff, a lot of people already know who I am, know how I be. So most of the time, either they'll like the small friend group I have come to me and certain things, but a lot of people that I know we would understand that we don't do those type of things without because we're just knowledgeable that we're just not for that. Uh, the way I deal with pressure, if it's just singling out, usually I just don't acknowledge a lot of people. I usually stay in my own space and until I'm with somebody with somebody that I know that's out with whatever's going on.
Absolutely. Dope answer, man. And I know for a lot of young people, like I told Jonathan, man, it's about being true to yourself, right? If people are pressuring you to smoke or drink, hey, man, I don't smoke or drink, and you just remove yourself from the situation. Doesn't make you any less cool to participate in foolishness. Actually, it makes you cooler and stronger because you're strong enough to resist those temptations and that peer pressure. So but what you said was key, Mike, and Jonathan, what you said was key, and Arnold, what you said was key. Staying true to yourself. And if it doesn't feel right, or if it's not something that you're into, just remove yourself from it. So definitely great insight. Anastasia, peer pressure on the college campus. Is it real? Does it still happen?
Yeah, it's pretty much real. For me, I always took the quote, find something to believe in and stand on it. And I like to exercise my boundaries. So with me, peer pressure kind of goes as if I know I really don't want to do something and I'm being influenced or I'm being peer pressured to a degree to where it's kind of hard for me to say no. I just remember that I don't have to be their friend. So really just having that strong sign of discernment, because once you do, go to college or you go in state, you can go in state, you can go out of state, you are going to have those people around in those social groups who want to influence you to either one, be like them, join their organizations, or just do something that you're not used to doing. Most likely you're gonna fall victim the first time. The second time you are going to be able to acknowledge, like, okay, I don't want to do this because I'm not sure how to directly express it to you guys, but it'd be like you would know something, right? Like you would feel it. So your intuition will really tell you, like, okay, I don't agree with this, or I shouldn't want to do it. So what I do is I tend to pay attention to those signs to really, really study my myself and how I am in environments, because I always like to be aware of my surroundings, because I don't want to be mixed up in anyone else's drama or shortcomings, because I have a bright future. So I charge all of you guys to really, really pay attention to yourself and your intuition, because it'll never lead you the wrong way.
Absolutely. I remember when my parents took me to college way back in the day. You know how you have, when you see in the movies and cartoons, you see the good angel on the left and you see the bad angel on the right. My mom always said, I remember, never forget, before they left me on campus, just dropped me off on the campus. My mom said, I want you to act like I'm on both of your shoulders watching all day, every day. And I used to think about that a lot, because as we all know, no disrespect to any moms that are watching right now, but there's some stuff that we just wouldn't and couldn't and can't do in front of our moms. So if we kind of act like mom is on both shoulders, that might help give us a little bit of guidance on what we probably should and shouldn't do. That might help. Coach Hayden, coming your way, peer pressure on some of the kids that you work with. Do you see it in some of the groups that you work with? Maybe some of the individuals, maybe they express that they're going through it in school or at home or in their communities?
Sometimes, and what I would say is never really put yourself in a situation that you wouldn't want to be in the first place. So, say there's a party or something going on where things are going to be happening that you don't even want to be involved with. Just don't go in the first place. And always just think, like, would you be doing this if they wouldn't ask you? And just to stay true to what you really believe in.
Absolutely. Thank you. This is all great insight. I'm I got my pen and my pencil. I'm taking notes myself. Miss Regina, I'm sure you're taking notes. You always take notes and follow the conversation. Give us a little insight on peer pressure, maybe some of the things that you see with some of the kids and teens and groups that you work with.
Well, I don't work with a whole lot of teenagers now in the position that I'm in.
You have kids in your track club.
Oh, well, yeah, but I mean, I'm running them. That's not a whole lot left of them at the end of practice.
That's a stress reliever. So we should have mentioned that the last question.
Exactly. You know what? I'm very goal oriented. I like to set goals and I encourage goals from teenagers. I try to set 4 or 5 things for me to do every day. And I encourage teenagers to do the same thing. And a lot of times, that kind of keeps back that pressure to go off and do something else because you're so focused on what it is that you're trying to accomplish before the end of your day. And I tell them, to steer clear of things that they know aren't good for them. I've heard that said a couple of times on the phone and said on the call, and also have an out, have somebody, a lot of times, and I see a couple of heads going, yeah, you need to have somebody who can come along and bail you out. Okay, so you are in this situation, pick up your phone, call somebody, come pick me up, come be with me, do things not necessarily by yourself. Always have an out. Look for an exit route for anything. And I'm not just talking about a physical exit. I'm talking about, emotionally having out for yourself. Take good care of yourself, in other words. Because what's the old saying, if you don't stand up for something, you'll fall down for nothing or anything.
Absolutely.
Very mindful of that. Don't, peer pressure is real. Of course it's real, but it's how you deal with it that counts.
That's awesome. And you brought up a great point about having an outlet, right? I know we all have those friends that no matter what you're going through, you can call and get their advice. I'm 42 years old and there's still friends I call and say, hey, man, I got this question from somewhere. Someone asked me to do this. What do you think? So when you're in situations that you're unsure, Autumn talked about talking to her mom. I'm sure Jonathan, Mike, I'm sure you talk to your big brother a lot about things. Have people to bounce that stuff off of and say, hey, I don't know. I'm kind of on the fence. Maybe should or shouldn't I? What do you think? Someone whose opinion you value, someone who has your best interests at heart, right? Who they'll tell you the truth, even if you want to hear it. Because their peer pressure is real. It was kind of a rhetorical question. We know the answer. The answer is yes, it's real. But like Ms. Regina said, it's about how you deal with it and the tools you have in your toolbox to deal. If it's a mentor, brother, sister, friend, and also a couple of you said it, being true to yourself and knowing who you are. Mike and Jonathan, you all are hoopers. You're playing ball. Well, we know drinking and smoking don't really go together with playing ball, right? So we know there's just certain things. Make your mind up that there's just certain things you're not down with. And stand on that. It's going to be difficult. You may get called a name or two. They may shun you a little bit, but just be true to yourself. Because at the end of the day, the only person you can be accountable for is yourself, right? So if people are doing reckless things and out just, being foolish and getting into trouble, they got to go home to their parents. You have to go home to yours. So understand that you got to stay true to yourself and who you are and stand on that. Like Ms. Regina, you said it best, stand for something or fall for nothing. And stand for what you believe in, no matter how difficult it might be. Stand for what you believe in. So I appreciate it. Anyone want to jump back in on this? I think we really hit that one. Those were all good answers. I know our Facebook is lighting up with responses to those answers. So we appreciate it. So we're going to pivot a little bit, right? Because we're on Dear Adults. And I know myself, I like to think that I know a lot about how you all feel about like what's going on in America today, right? We see a lot of the stuff that's going on. We all see the current events from all across the world because we have our phones, right? We can pop on the social media site and know what's going on. And I was watching the bomb attacks in Palestine from my house here in Tampa. So we know what's going on everywhere in the world. So we're going to take a pivot real quick to thinking about like America as a whole. And Big Mike, I'm going to start off with you, man. Thinking about like the past 12 months, this pandemic and everything that's been going on, the civil unrest, the protests, some of the things we've seen. like, how do you feel about where we are, like in America today? Do you, how do you feel about everything that's going on, the team perspective? Because we like to think we know how you all feel about the current events, but how do you feel about some of it?
For currently what's been happening for like the 12 months, I think a lot of things got like, really bad because just not even the fact that the pandemic hit America the way it did, just the fact like a lot of things are not even coming up to the light, and a lot of things are like people are understanding that there's certain topics we need to be talked about instead of pushing them to the dark. And I feel like it's been a real struggle for like a lot of people, and I feel like it just shows that we should unite more and help with more causes around America.
Absolutely, man. You use a key word, man. Unite, unity, man. I think that's something that all across the board, we all need to show more unity, show more love and compassion for our fellow Americans and fellow human beings. Autumn, coming your way. The last 12 months, thinking about the pandemic and the protests and the civil unrest and some of the police and community relations, how do you feel about it?
I think it's stressful because like when all this happened, like people had to adjust their ways and like change how they used to do things, like their work schedule, and because if they don't want to get sick and they have health problems, and also like us right now in school where our teachers getting cut, and then like if we adjust to somebody then they leave, then we have to adjust to something new, and what if we don't understand it?
Absolutely. See, and adults, we never think about how kids feel when they have a teacher change, when they've gotten a teacher that they've developed a relationship with, and for whatever reason, that teacher is no longer there, and there's a new teacher there, and you just don't vibe with them. Like that's a real thing for kids, right? You all are dealing with a lot of things in the school that we never thought we would ever deal with. So that's a great point, especially that teacher thing. And I'm going to come back your way to touch around a little bit too. Jonathan, swinging your way. How you feel about what's going on in our country, man, the way things are and where we are right now?
I feel like that America has changed drastically due to like the fact of misleadership, because COVID shouldn't have affected the USA this bad like it did. Because if it wasn't for our president, and if Donald Trump handled the situation better than what he did, then the COVID outbreak wouldn't have been this bad. And also, I agree with what Autumn said about how like teachers change and we have to get used to them. Because a lot of teachers at my school, they're starting to leave, and it's like it's hard to start getting used to a new guy or lady that you haven't met before when you build up a relationship with a previous teacher.
Okay, dope. It seems like you've been following politics a little bit, but in your opinion, you think things have gotten a little better here lately? Without talking about Donald Trump or Biden or Democrat, Republican, you think we're kind of on the right track?
No, not really.
Okay, and why not? I want to stay with that, man, because I think your young opinions are valuable, man. Why not?
Because of like police brutality and also like all the racist things that are going on. And take, for instance, like the George Floyd the incident that happened with the cop who kept his knee on his neck, like that, they shouldn't have come out to that outcome, because he was already in handcuffs, and all he had to do was just get him up and put him in the car and take him to jail. But he just wanted to. I mean, I don't really know how to explain it to you guys, but he just didn't want to.
Like it was unnecessary, right? Like
Yeah.
it shouldn't happen that way.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I think that's a sentiment from a lot of people. And like you said, there are a lot of things we talk about, racial injustice, social injustice, economic injustice. A lot of the things that we're going through, man, I think we need a lot of work. And it's important to hear how you all feel about it, right? Because I know sometimes us as adults, and I'm guilty of it myself, we talk around teenagers instead of talking to them and having dialogue, so we can, because you all are going through it too. You may not be going through it in the same way, but you're still dealing with the issues that we're dealing with on an everyday basis. So absolutely. Anastasia, I see you shaking your head. You want to jump in here?
Yeah, I just want to add, when the pandemic became a pandemic, I was in local what course was I taking? Local and state government. And my professor really was just telling us, like, you know, as college students, y'all are very careless, and we don't really exercise our voice the way we should. And we were all like, no, the pandemic's not going to affect us, until it became a pandemic and it shut down everything. And to piggyback off what Jonathan said, we really do have a lot of work to do as far as in molding our younger the younger generations to become these efficient leaders, because like you stated, a lot of things are unnecessary, and it continues to happen because it's kind of like we are not awake, and we're not, you know, exercising our voice the way we should. Like the Black Lives Matter movement, it's kind of like after 90 days everyone's back to partying, or, you know, just neglecting the fact that they put their knee on this man's neck and he died. So with that being said, I really think the work that has to be done in our community starts really with us being that voice, being that change, and being brave and being courageous to say, like, yeah, I know that's not right, instead of saying or being afraid to speak your mind because it may be different from someone else in the room. But individualism is something that we all really need, because now without it, it's like everyone's following each other and there's not any real leadership.
And you know what, you hit right where I was going, right? Because I was going to piggyback off of Jonathan, and what you said is, you know, Republican, Democrat aside, no disrespect to any politicians, but I think we have to, you know, Michael, I'm gonna go back to the word you use, unify, right? We got to unify our own communities. We can't sit back and wait on anyone from Washington, D.C. or Tallahassee, Florida, wherever it is they may be, to affect change in our neighborhoods, right? We can start grassroots, put our boots on, and make some things happen in our own communities. So I think that we have to do like exactly what Michael said. We have to unify. Exactly what Jonathan said, get stronger and get together. Exactly what Anastasia said, come together as groups, as young people, and start a movement, start mentoring, start getting that next group ready for leadership positions, if it's politics or community activists or whatever it is it may be. So absolutely, all great points. Coach Hayden, still going to tie you into it real quick. Where we are right now, how do you feel? Give us a little perspective from another young adult.
You just notice about like majority of us are just so they just think for themselves. Like when it comes to a crisis, whether it's like a hurricane or like the gas shortage, they just take way more than they need, and not thinking about the person next to them. Like for instance, I saw a picture when there was a gas shortage of a couple was just filling up their whole trunk with like a whole bunch of gas. Like, instead of taking it all, what about the person next to you? And you take it all. It doesn't make sense to me. And I just feel like America, or just the whole human race, just needs to remember that we're all just human, and you have to think for the person next to you as well.
That was the same thing when the pandemic, or when COVID first started, with the toilet paper, right?
Yeah.
And toilet paper anywhere, and those who were hoarding toilet paper, they probably still have it, an abundance of it. And during that time, there were some people who didn't have any, and you have a person that has a house full, and like you said, you think about the compassion for your fellow man, or think about, well, if I have 1 million rolls in my house, my next door neighbor might have 2. What is he going to do when those 2 run out? You know what I mean? And think about the next person. So those key words that were brought up, the word unity that Michael brought up, compassion that Jonathan brought up, leadership that Anastasia brought up, all this ties in. What Autumn talked about, all this ties in together. Miss Regina, I'll let you put a bow on this little question about where we are right now, because we've got some good insight from our young people.
Oh man, you know what? I can't add a thing, because all of those comments were right on target, right on point. And Anastasia, Jonathan, everybody. I mean, those insights that you all gave, absolutely. There's a lot of work to do. And our youth leaders are the ones that people like me are depending on to get it done. Because I mean, you're smart, influential, on the move. You may be a youth leader in your community today, and a state or national leader a little farther down the road. but you're there, you're exposed to it. You know what needs to be done. You know, no one is telling you about it. You're actually seeing it for yourself. So you know what has to be done. And I just encourage it. I ask you, I implore you, all that are on the call now, I ask you to please take into consideration the things that you see going on around you, and find it somewhere inside yourself. Put it inside. Like Jamal, you just said, the little people on your shoulders. Let those two people on your shoulders, on either one, be helping you to make a decision to do some things for what we've seen here recently. I mean, I didn't see all of this when I was your age. Obviously, there was some things going on, because you got to understand, I'm from the South, and I saw some things that I wouldn't even mention on this call tonight. But things like social unrest and police brutality, I never saw police brutality, and we didn't have a pandemic like this, and you know, some of the things that are going on. But it certainly is an opportunity for you all to grow and learn and prepare yourselves as leaders for our future, to help us to move forward. And unity is the key.
Absolutely, absolutely. Man, these answers that you all have given tonight have been really dope. I really appreciate it, and I'm sure the Facebook family as well. So we kind of talked about it a little bit. Everybody kind of talked about it, but we're going to swing back to it. And Anastasia, I'm going to start with you on this one. Flashing forward to a year from now. So we've been through a year during a pandemic, and we've made it through for the most part. We came out the other side, and we still have some work to do. But if you could forecast where we are a year from now, so a year from today, where would you like to see us be? What are some of the things that you'd like to see in place for young people, or how young people are moving and where we are?
I really would like to see more Black teenagers in roles of politics, you know, interning at the state attorney office. I did it, interning with the police force, or just interning to see and to understand their policies and procedures, and how you can in the future go and change those policies and those procedures, how you can be that voice for your community, or you know, just the ones around you. I also would like to see more unity within our communities, instead of the distance. If we all could come together like we did for the verdict of George Floyd, even though I personally believe it shouldn't have took that long, but we came together, we marched, it even turned into riots in some states. The verdict came back to be guilty. So if we can continue that continuously without there having to be deaths or anything, I really, really believe that we can move mountains.
Absolutely. And I think, you know, to piggyback on what you're saying, I think being proactive on some programs and activities and things that we can do before we ever get to something national, where we all form and we start moving a certain way because something tragic has happened to someone. Maybe some proactive ideas and some proactive leadership. And I'm not talking, you know, politicians. I mean leadership in our communities, proactive programs, activities for young people, jobs, you know, those kind of things that can get them ready to be who you are, get them ready to be those next group of leaders, that, you know, future state attorneys, future vice presidents, future councilmen and congress people and senators. So absolutely, I think coming together and forming is absolutely where we need to go. Autumn. Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
It really can just start by, you know, you and your friend. As long as two people believe in something and y'all have a vision and y'all have a plan, you can march for that. You can have other people want to join your organization. It can just be something as small as you want to graduate with all white at your college, your high school, but they don't allow all white. Sign a petition, get something started, you know, use your voice for that change, because if you can change a school setting or some school policies, I'm pretty sure you can change the world, because policies and procedures usually go hand in hand, and they are universal. It's just, you know, depending on the state, the entity, or whatever department you're using your voice for, it really can happen. You just have to put the work behind it, you know, and keep that small faith of a mustard seed to know that it will change. And as long as you keep going and you're doing everything that you're supposed to be doing, it will happen.
Absolutely. I'm not even going to touch that one. I think you hit it all. Autumn, coming your way, where would you like to see us in the next year? We've gotten through 1 year of a pandemic. Where would you like this for America to be a year from now? Autumn, can you hear me? Coming your way.
Can you come back to me?
Yes, I'll swing back your way. Big Mike, coming your way. What would you like to see us be in a year from now?
What I like to see us be in a year, mostly come to terms with a lot of things, because a lot of things in the past that has affected a lot of things that happen now in this future. I like us to come together, realize a lot of things, and talk about it and put it to rest as a group, as a whole nation in itself. Because a lot of things that happen, it's not as it's really unfixable. A lot of things are just things that we gotta get used to. That realization, like this happened, now we just gotta come back, rebuild, and make things better. Better from what past generations and stuff have done. That's pretty much what I like to see. Just see us rebuild off of a lot of bad decisions and mistakes.
Absolutely, absolutely. Because there's a lot of things that we can't undo, right? We can't go back and erase anything that happened yesterday and beyond, right? So starting today or tomorrow when we wake up, we got to find ways to build on what we do. And like what you said, we can't change anything. We can't go back. Nobody has a time machine. We can go back and do it all over again. So we got to start from now and figure out how we can all unify. I'm gonna keep going back to that word you used, but might unify and develop leaders like you all who are on this Zoom meeting tonight. Be leaders in your community, young leaders in your neighborhoods, young leaders in school, and lead that next generation. Well, we may have a future vice president, future president on this call right here tonight. Coach Hayden, you might have a future leader in your program at Forest Hills, and all the programs that we have across the city may have these future leaders. And us as adults, we have to do our best to nurture those leaders and guide those leaders in the way they should go. Anastasia, coming back your way, a year from now, I know you talked a little bit about community leaders and everything else, but from a young person, an older, I still look at you as little Anastasia, even though you're a college graduate. When you were in high school, middle school, how did you kind of get started? What made you want to go the route you're going?
I always just knew that I wanted to be a change, and I didn't know that I am very charismatic, and anytime I say something, people listen. So in high school, when I saw that, I was like, oh, wow, okay, I have a natural gift. And with that natural gift, high school, it was just like, I remember my ninth grade year, shout out to Avid at Hillsborough High School. I won the Avid Award, Outstanding Avid Student, and my peers picked me. It was like a classroom setting. She told everybody to write their name on the paper, and everybody picked me. And I kind of was all like, really me? And it was just always saying, like, you have your own voice, if anything isn't right, you can stand up for people, which I used to always stand up for people, even people who I'm not even friends with today. But that just showed my bravery and how courageous I was, because I really believe that everyone should be treated equally. And with that, we can't be out here saying that fair and equal is the same thing, because it really isn't, especially when you have those communities where all of these obstacles are placed there, and it's hard for you to rise above because you really don't see those leaders in your community. And I really just wanted to be that, because I really just saw how if you don't know and your parents don't know, you're kind of just like lost. And with you being lost, it really affects you. It affects you if you want to go to college. It affects your grades. It really affects your individualism poorly, because you don't have that motivation. So being that I always been kind of self-motivated, and I always knew I wanted to change and I wanted to be the change, I kind of just applied my personality in with it. And I went to high school like, this is what I want to do. I'm ready to do it. And I linked up with, I took AVID, which is a first generation college course prep. I took that out 4 years, and I really just started realizing that, like with SGA at your school and SGA homecoming committees, you really, really can change the culture at your institution or in the world, as long as you are using your voice appropriately and you're doing it in the be on the same level for everyone. You're not trying to just
get a position and not fulfill your position, because what you will notice is growing up and branching out to college, branching out to all these different organizations, some people get attached to titles. And really being attached to titles really leaves you I say lifeless, because you're attached to a title without a purpose. In order to move forward, you need a purpose. You need to know where you're starting it and how you're going to get there, even if you don't get there the first time, because that just lets you know that you have a lot of work to do. You may have to partner with some friends from other schools or the cheerleading team just to get your your voice, just to get it out and to get it heard. And there's so many ways we can do that now as young people. Social media, YouTube. I know everybody be like, subscribe to my channel. I see some people subscribing to my channel, telling people why they think what they think and why we should change. And I honestly think that the internet has been very, very powerful during the pandemic, because it has allowed us to see things that most of us haven't seen before. Like Miss Regina said, she didn't see police brutality growing up because they didn't have the internet as vivid as we have it now. So being that we have all these things and it's here for us, why not utilize them?
Absolutely. I believe that alone, because I think you just preached. So I'm not even going to touch that one. Jonathan, coming your way. That was, there's nothing I can add to that. I think you hit it all, Anastasia. Jonathan, where would you like to see us in a year?
Well,
Jonathan,
pretty much
real quick, Jonathan, I want to apologize to you for making you go after that, because I don't even know how you really follow that up. So give it your best shot. I know you got it,
Jonathan.
You got it.
Well, Anastasia pretty much said everything though, but I just want to touch up on like the part where she said how us as teens and as a community have to come together and use our voice to express our feelings and what we're thinking about, because a lot of people are scared to express themselves because of what people may think about them. So I think like a lot of us just need to express ourselves and use the internet to our advantage.
Absolutely. Hey, man, you follow that up real well, Jonathan, man. Shout out, man. Salute. Autumn, I'm coming back your way. I'm not going to forget about you. I know everybody said, don't roll your eyes. I know you don't want to go behind Anastasia and Jonathan, but you still got to step up. Give us a little bit. I know they touched on almost everything, but give us a little insight. Where would you like to see us be in here? Like what, if there's any programs or activities or stuff you'd like to see available for young people? You're still muted. Unmute yourself. There you go.
I'm unmuted.
Okay. I know they said like everybody stole your shine already, right? They took it all. So I'll help y'all.
Yeah.
Just ditto what they said. You got to say it. Say ditto what they said.
Wait, huh?
Ditto what they said. Ditto. So
you agree with what they said, right? Because they took it all. You're right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. They took all the answers. Coach Hayden, coming your way. What would you like to see, especially for our young people, them to be in a year from now?
Yes. So they covered pretty much all of it, but I do want to see more compassion, because you never know what somebody next to you is going through. Like that could have been your little comment, could have been their last straw, like to losing it. And to always be aware of your mental health and always just keep yourself in check. Don't just ignore what you're feeling, kind of go through it and process it yourself so you can get through it, because you don't want to stay in that negative mindset, because it can cause like anxiety and depression and all that kind of stuff.
Absolutely, great points. And we never really talk about mental health and how it affects and how it deals. So I know there's a lot of resources, Hillsborough County, and there's several organizations who have mental health resources out there for our young people. So thank you, Coach Hayden, for mentioning that part. And it kind of goes like, I know it's an all football term, and it applies to life. My coaches used to say all the time, you didn't play as good as you think you did, and you didn't play as bad as you think you did. And it took a while to understand what that meant. That means don't beat yourself up if things don't go your way, if you fail once or twice. Kind of stay even keel. Keep your mind together. Don't get too down on yourself. Don't get too high on yourself. Stay grounded. Stay grounded on what you believe. Trust the process or whatever process you're going through. Believe in it and stay grounded. Miss Regina, I know they stole it all. But if you can touch on kind of where you want to see us going, I know it's tough. We all following up on all of that, but
They got me, you know. I'm learning so much from these young people, and that is key. Because you know what? A lot of times, older adults such as me, you know, we don't know all of the answers.
I'm in that group. I'm in that group too.
We've been here for a minute. We've been here for a while, but we don't know the answers. You know, some things get past us as well. But I will say that I encourage all of y'all to educate yourselves for upward mobility. And that doesn't necessarily mean having a college degree. You can educate, because everybody is not going to go to college. Some people are just not going to do that. But that doesn't mean that you can't educate yourself. You're always learning. You're always figuring things out. And you should have a way of establishing your dreams and following them, preparing yourself. That's what we should be doing. We should always prepare ourselves to present ourselves. So whatever it is that you're doing, it's a preparation process now for what's going to be happening then. You're always looking at now to get ready for then. So preparing yourself now to present yourself later. That's what that's what we should always be about.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Regina. And that brings us to our last question. And I'm going to share something. And Ms. Regina, you know this young lady. So just to give a little insight. So the last question we were going to hit, we always like to give adults a little piece of advice or a little gift to go home with after the party. Our question that we had was, what can we as adults do to make life easier for teens? So that was the question that we had prepared for you all. So Ms. Regina, there's a young lady who you're familiar with. Her name is Hope Carisi. You know Coach Hope, right? Shout out Coach Hope. Coach Hope was was very instrumental in TLC as well while she was here with her department. So she asked the question in the Facebook comments: how can adults support teens and young adults to help them make a change in their community? So her question that she posed on Facebook was almost verbatim the question that we had written down. So Coach Hope, you still got a lot of TLC in you, wherever you are. I know you're doing amazing things wherever you are, but you still have a lot of TLC in you. So young people, that's the question right now. Big Mike, I'm going to come your way. What can we as adults do to make life easier for you all, for teens?
What are those things easier for teens? I just think be more like understanding the teens. Was a lot of things that's understanding that growing up, there's going to be like other hormones or whatever, such as that, but which comes with a different kind of aggression, different kind of emotions, and just slightly understanding that they were once teens and they were all faced with the same problems, and come to terms of just talking with them and being able to just reason with them, because us teens we don't really want that much. A lot of things we want to just make sure that we're heard, or just
want to be heard.
Just to have such form of freedom that we have our own voice as a person, and we just want to be able to speak it out.
Absolutely. So I'm going to sum up. You said you all just want to be heard. You want that outlet. You want that real conversation, the honest two-way conversation with us adults. Absolutely. I appreciate that. Autumn, coming your way. What can we as adults do to help you all?
Have uncomfortable conversations with them, like something that might like be out their comfort zone.
Oh man, that's a great point. Have uncomfortable conversations, because it's difficult for parents to talk about, some parents, not all, to talk to their children about drugs and alcohol and sex and peer pressure and social media. Some of the stuff that we don't even understand what all that stuff is in 2021 is so different than when we all went through it. But that's a great point. You gave them a great gift to have uncomfortable conversations with their youth. Great answer. Jonathan, coming your way. What can we do? What can the adults do to make things easier for you all, to help you all?
I would agree with what Mike said. Like, try to just understand like where we're coming from, because our generation now is like so different from like the past or previous generation before us. Because like a lot of our things are different. Like social media is like bigger and more of an influence on our lives than what it was back then. And also just try to do things that they like doing. Like just say if they like just listening to music or drawing or doing something, just try to do something that they like doing with them.
Absolutely. Dope answer, man. Absolutely. Coach Hayden, coming your way. You work with teens a lot, right? Give the gift of some things that work for you when you work with teens and how you make them, how you relate to them or develop a different type of rapport with them.
Just to always offer a lending hand and help out and ask for what they need to accomplish whatever goal they're trying to accomplish. Whether it's like they want to paint or anything that it is, like just offer whatever it is that they need to achieve the goals that they want to, and always just be there to listen.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Anastasia, coming your way. What can we do? You're a young adult now, right? So there's a generation, you've got a generation on this Zoom call here tonight behind you. What do you think you can do or your generation can do for those coming up behind you all?
Understand really the difference between their generation and our generation, and really just bridge the gap. Because like Jonathan said, social media has really changed the way the younger generation communicate. Like I know I'll go to my cousin's house and everyone on the phone, and it's kind of like, oh hey, but it's so dry. Like give me a hug, show me some good energy. So really just bridging that gap and bringing back that social interaction, and really just being open-minded and understanding that things will change and things are always going to change, but the way we respond to it and the way we adapt to them really matters, because someone is always watching you. Is you, regardless if you, especially with social media, someone is always watching you, especially the FBI. So be very, very cautious of what you're posting and how you're posting, because you can be, your post can either inspire someone or send someone or make them someone said the word earlier, but like she said, Coach Hayden, compassionate. So really, really just have all those key things about your social media page, and be personable, because now the younger generation is not personable. You can walk past them, everybody in their phone, they listen to music, they can't have a conversation. And during this time in our society and modern world, it's really, really important for us to learn how to, you engage in conversation, have those uncomfortable conversations. Reach out to a mentor if you can't talk to your mom. Reach out to someone who will be able to hear you out objectively and give you some advice that you can use that won't lead you somewhere that you don't want to go.
Absolutely. I think Miss Regina said it best, and I'm gonna pick on Autumn a little bit and my crew over here at Jackson Heights. They'll be all in the game room or the multi-purpose room or the gym, and they'll be texting each other on their phones, and everybody's in arm distance of each other. We can reach out and touch each other, but we texted each other on their phone, right? So like you said, that personal interaction, right? That those skills that you develop, those social skills that you develop is key. And it's incumbent on us as the adults to take the lead, right? We can't ask the young people to lead us. Like we can't ask them to extend that olive branch to us. We've got to go out of our way to extend that to bridge that gap, to use the words that have been used tonight, to reach out to these young people and to ask them what they need, what they want, and what will help them. So, and if the FBI, if you're listening, I hope you're taking notes. Anastasia said you're listening to social media pages. So if you're listening right now, take a little notes on how we can all engage the teens a little bit better. Miss Regina, this has been a wonderful, wonderful conversation tonight. As we wind up here at the end, share a little bit of your thoughts. I see you nodding your head a lot, and you've been enjoying the conversation. So put a pin in tonight's conversation for us.
I have thoroughly enjoyed it. I know I look like a bobblehead because I've been nodding most of the night because the information has been amazing. I have grandkids, everybody. And so this is going to actually help me in my quest to be not so dull as a grandma, as they're getting older. and that, you know, they're going to come to me. I want to be an encourager and a motivator to them. I want to give them a listening ear, and I don't want to be judgmental. So you all are helping me so that I'm not that way. But I was young one time, you know, I was 16, I was 17, and let me see, did we skip school back then? Maybe so. You know,
Someone did. May not have been you, but someone did.
Yeah.
Someone did.
Yes, absolutely. But anyway, yeah, this has really been a great opportunity for you all tonight to do the Dear Parents Part 2. It almost seems, Jamal, like we should do a Dear Parent Part 3, man. This is good.
I think every week we can do Dear Adults, because there's just so much information that the young people have that needs to be heard, right? Like Mike and Jonathan and Autumn said, right? Their voices are huge, and all we have to do is get out of the way and give them their platform to and they'll tell us, they'll help us lead them where they need to go. So absolutely.
For sure. Dear Adult. So it might be another one coming. So everybody be on the lookout for that one. It depends on how Jamal feels about it after we're done tonight.
Well, listen, I'm looking at Facebook, and it looks like we might be doing 3, 4, 5, and 6 the way people are engaging on Facebook right now. So I definitely want to thank everyone for coming on with us tonight, Michael and Jonathan and Autumn. And I know we had a couple of our usuals who had prior engagements. I know they would have loved to be here tonight, but this conversation has been, like, I think, the best one so far, because our young people have really been so honest, really. And I know, Michael, you talked about honesty from adults. We really need more honesty, both way, two-way conversations, right? Autumn mentioned uncomfortable conversations. Us as adults have to be honest. None of us were perfect. I wasn't the perfect middle school or high schooler. I'm not even a perfect adult, right? So I can't talk to you in terms of perfection, because nobody knows what that looks like, right? So we've got to be honest enough to say, we know you're going to make mistakes. We know you're going to fall down, but we've got to help pick you up and guide you and get you back on the path. So shout out to everyone for this conversation tonight. There are a couple of things that I want to mention before we go. And Ms. Regina, you can correct me if I'm wrong, if I give a little misinformation, but I believe that the vaccines are available for teenagers in the city of Tampa. There are multiple sites that our young people can be vaccinated if you or your parents so choose. On the city of Tampa's website, Hillsborough County's website, all that information is available. I know they are doing it at some of our rec centers, are hosting vaccination pop-ups. They're all over the city. So if you should choose to be vaccinated, definitely take advantage of those opportunities. I know that here in Parks and Rec, for our younger adults, 18 and over, we still have seasonal recreation leader jobs available for summer camps and some of our specialty camps. Tampa.gov jobs, if you're interested, Rec Leader 1. I'm not sure, Ms. Regina, you can give me a head nod or a no if they're still looking for seasonal lifeguards or not. But I know that we're still looking for seasonal rec leaders for our summer camps and our specialty sports camps. So if you're so interested to join the Parks and Rec team for the summer, I know teachers will be out and available this summer. If you haven't applied, Tampa.gov jobs, you'll see recreation leader, seasonal recreation leader, you'll see seasonal lifeguard, and those opportunities are available. Let me see, let me make sure I didn't hit anything. We'll be back again in 2 weeks. So Miss Regina just threw me a curveball because we may be doing Dear Adults Part 3. I know we were going to do a year in review, learning during the pandemic, and Anastasia was going to come back and talk a little bit about learning in college during the pandemic. Our young people were going to share learning in the middle school and high school during the pandemic, virtually or brick and mortar. But we may have to pause that one and come back, Dear Adults. We don't know what the topic will be, but we do know we will be back in 2 weeks. So all of you all who are watching on Facebook, the many, many people who are watching on Facebook, will be back again in 2 weeks. I believe that'll be June 1st, the first day of summer camp. We'll be back on our Teen Talk Tuesday live on Facebook. So thank you to all. I'm going to go through a list of names that I know Miss Regina and Coach Hayden will probably recognize who are watching. Coach Kareem Collins from Fair Oaks is watching us. Shout out to Coach Kareem. Coach Hope said, great conversation. She's watching from wherever she's watching from. Coach Rodney Smoke Dozier from MLK, one of our TLC leaders from MLK, is watching. He says hello to everyone. Coach Donna said yes with a huge emoji smiley face about the conversation. She's watching from Copeland Park. We've got numerous. Autumn, your mom. Autumn, say hi to your mom. I know she's there with you, but she's also watching on Facebook. So say hello to your mom.
Hi, Mom.
There you go. There you go. Anastasia.
Got a question.
What's that? Oh, okay. Good. Coach Hope is in New York now. Okay. Coach Hope, shout out to you in New York, watching all the way from New York. Thank you. So again, I want to thank our young people for coming on tonight. Man, like I said, Mike, Jonathan, Autumn, Coach Hayden, Anastasia, thank you so much for those jewels that you dropped on our young people and the adults tonight. I think it was much needed and right on point. Miss Regina, as always, thank you for your support for Teen Talk and coming on with us tonight and helping guide the ship. Everyone who's out there, stay safe. Keep yourself safe and out of harm's way so that you can be here in 2 weeks to watch this group, because it's not me. It's not Miss Regina. It's not Coach Hayden. It's the young people, right? This is their platform, their voice. So with that being said, we'll see everyone in 2 weeks. Hopefully everyone is safe, and we shall return with another episode of Team Talk Tuesday with TLC. We're going to decide the topic, but it sounds like we may be running Dear Adults back again, and if we do, I'm sure it'll be great. So with that being said, everyone wave goodbye to our Facebook family, and we'll see you all in 2 weeks. Everyone have a good night. Good night, Miss Regina. Good night, Autumn.
Good night. Great